Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Ivy, and today I'm going to be talking about Magnus Chase and the Sword of Summer by Riordan. So this book is about Magnus Chase, and he is 16 years old, and for 2 years he's been living on the streets ever since his mother got murdered. And so he's been living on the streets, and then one day he finds out that his uncle Randolph, that his mom warned him to never go to. He finds out that his uncle is looking for him, and he tries to avoid him, but he ends up falling right into his clutches. And Randolph is rambling on and on about how Norse mythology is real, and he takes Magnus to this bridge where he tells Magnus to summon the sword, and so Magnus, humoring him, puts his hand over the water like, and he ends up actually summoning this sword. It's the Sword of Summer, Frey's sword, who is Magnus's father, as we later find out. Frey is the god of summer and warmth and light, and it's his sword that Magnus pulls up out of the river. But then Surt, the king of the fire giants, shows up, and he ends up killing Magnus. Magnus sacrifices himself for all the people who are on the bridge, and he dies. But he is taken to Valhalla, which is kind of like where humans that die in battle heroically, they go to Valhalla to prepare for Ragnarok, which is Doomsday. And so Magnus, he's not very welcomed. No one really considers him a hero, but he ends up on this quest along with some friends to stop Ragnarok, and to do that he must rebind Fenris Wolf, who is this wolf that is the son of Loki, the god of mischief. And when he gets loose, Doomsday, like the chain of events that starts Doomsday, will start and the world will end. So Magnus has to stop that along with his friends, and they go on the quest to stop it. Talk a little bit about the characters in this book. First, we have Magnus. He is the cousin of Annabeth Chase, if you've read the Percy Jackson series by Riordan, so that connection blew my mind. But he is selfless and brave. He goes on this quest thinking, yep, whatever, I gotta do this. It's not for me, it's not for my good, it's for everyone else's good. And he really misses his mother, because she got killed, and he misses her a lot. Throughout the book it talks about that, and it's just sad because he had such a strong relationship with her, but then it was taken away from him, and it's just sad. Next we have Blitzen. He is a dwarf who watched over Magnus when he was homeless, and he loves fashion, and he's so hilarious because he, no matter what, if they're going into battle, he's gonna be fashionable. It's just so funny. And then Hearthstone, nicknamed Hearth, also watched over Magnus while he was homeless. Hearth is an elf, and he is deaf, so he has a troubled past. His family was not very kind to him because of his deafness. But he has become a rune magician, so he has these runestone things, and he can basically bend reality. He's just so cool, and he's humble, but every time he uses magic, it takes a toll on him, so he's sacrificing himself for the good of others, and it's just great. And then there's Sam, the Valkyrie that took Magnus to Valhalla, who also comes with Magnus, Blitz, and Hearth on their quest. And she is trying to balance her normal life with her Valkyrie life. So she has school and a boyfriend on one side, and then reaping souls and working for Odin on another side. She's also a daughter of Loki, so no one really trusts her as a Valkyrie because they're like, oh, Loki, the god of mischief, is her father. She can't be trusted. She's probably a spy. And so all four of these characters, they go on the quest. And Fenris Wolf is the wolf, son of Loki. He's so cunning and clever and scary. He's such a smooth talker. It's just scary. And then Loki, you never know what side he's on. One point you'll be like, oh, he's good. He wants the best for everyone. But then on the other, another time you'll be like, oh no, that guy is evil. You never know which side he is going for. So that's cool. And then there's Surt, the king of the fire giants, who wants to start Doomsday by freeing Fenris and starting Doomsday. Wow, that went downhill. At this point in the video, if you have not read this book, I recommend you leave right now because I'm about to get into some spoiler parts of the video. So, the four friends, Sam, Blitz, Hearth, and Magnus, they first have to find the Sword of Summer, so they pull up the World Serpent, and then that summons Ron. Ron, she has, like, the net with all the trinkets that she's found swirling around in it, but she also has the Sword of Summer in that net. So, Magnus and Sam are on the boat, and they are negotiating with her, and it's just so hilarious because the reactions that the characters have to Ron and Ron herself, it's just all so funny. Like, I was laughing this whole scene, but they end up negotiating to get the sword, and they get it, and then they have to get the rope to rebind Fenris. So they end up in Nidavellir, the dwarf world, where Blitz, he goes into a crafting competition with an old dwarf that I forget the name of. Anyways, Blitz is not the best at crafting, but this dwarf is. But he ends up winning with the help of Sam as a shapeshifter, kind of cheating, but that's okay in the dwarf world. I don't know why. And Blitz, he ends up winning with his fashionable armor designs, and it just made me so happy for him because he figured out that this is my strength and I'm going to use it for the good of all. I don't know where I was going with that. Anyways, next they have to know where the island is where the wolf is bound, so they go to Thor, who knows, but first they have to help him, and they look for his not officially missing hammer, and before all is said and done with Thor, they have killed 4 giants, and so they get the directions from Thor after lots of troubles, but they never actually find the hammer that's not officially missing. Anyways, they have the directions now, they have everything they need, so they end up going on the boat to the island where Fenris is, and so once they're there, Gunilla and Magnus's hallmates end up showing up because they want to stop him, but then Surt and the fire giants show up, and so they all work together against Surt and Fenris. And so Magnus, Blitz, Hearth, and Sam are taking on Fenris while everyone else is taking on the fire giants. So after a while of confrontation, Magnus realizes that he needs to use Jack. Oh, I forgot to mention that. Jack is the Sword of Summer who can talk, and his real name is Sumerbrander, but Magnus wants to call him Jack. And Jack is hilarious. He calls Magnus Senor. Whenever he does that, I'm just like, oh my gosh. It's so funny. Anyway, so Magnus ties the rope on Jack's hilt, and uses the power of summer and lightness to rebind Fenris, who is like dark and cold, and it's just so cool. Like, he binds him and it's like, yes, they win, but their victory doesn't last long because they look over and the battle is not going so well. 2 of the Valkyries are dead, and then Magnus sees Gunilla get struck down, and he gets kind of mad, and then that was just like, oh my gosh, like, even though Gunilla, like, she never liked Magnus and she was hating him, like, the whole time, she ended up sacrificing her life for him and for Sam and for everyone, and it just made me sad, but also happy that that was the way she went. Like, it was a good way to die, if you know what I mean. But now, what happened? Oh, yes, so Magnus uses the Piece of Summer to cast away all the weapons except for Jack, of course, and then he uses Jack to open up a portal and sends all the fire giants through, so the day is saved, everyone returns to Valhalla. They are welcomed as heroes once Odin shows up and says that this whole time he's been disguised and Sam is working for him and that everything is good. He gives them rewards. Hearth gets to learn rune magic from Odin. Blitz gets his own shop. Sam gets to do special missions. And Magnus ends up having a choice between going with his mother and staying at Valhalla. He chooses Valhalla because he finally feels like he has a family there after 2 years of not feeling like that at all. And so everything is good, except in the epilogue we find out that Randolph has been working for Loki the whole time, and it's just bad. One of the themes of this book is definitely friendship, because Blitz, Hearth, Sam, and Magnus, they all stuck together till the end. No matter what happened, they were always there for each other. They didn't care if they were deaf or a daughter of Loki or if they liked fashion. They all just stuck together no matter what. And there was that one scene when they had, like, they were a family of empty cups, and they really are a family now, and it just, I don't know, it just made me so happy. Like, their friendship and bond is just, like, unbreakable, and that's just so amazing. And so I really, really like this book. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. The plot is amazing, even though it's the classic quest story. I love the integration of Norse mythology into it. It's so interesting. The characters are amazing, so different and so deep, and the dialogue and even everything, even the chapter titles, it's all just so hilarious. Like, you're laughing out loud the entire time, and I just love this book, and I love Rick Riordan. He always does such a great job on his books. And yeah, that's it. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!